is because I don't believe in citizens feature the user ID for each group that signs up. So besides that, all these
With
apps
folks
are
anonymously, so you can talk to
they're
each
starting
other.
on GitHub, but also have this link right here. I don't have to even keep track of these IDs.
It's like this tool stuff like that, but
ID,
are also.
so when I click it, it just tells my service to that.
The feature of the platform,
But in ID,
which is like, any set of best practices and services to help you to interpret the data you're getting.
yeah, literally, so people have all I see is their ID. So at that point, when you go,
There's also
post
four
it,
others.
it posts it on GitHub, it sends this message in line, right? This message is the ID, I don't actually know the ID. So when you click this, it sends that as a parameter, this view makes a request to my service with that ID, and I call GitHub, get it. It's
Just so
just
they're
on the back, it's
clear,
clear.
you don't have one of those typical startup headaches that others have, they're like, oh, fuck. Really hopefully it's fine.
That's what
Do you use your boilerplate? I mean, your sort of.
I use my ES6 boilerplate.
Yeah.
Express upgraded. It's not shitting compatible
Don't
with
miss it.
Express 3.
Really? Never been there.
We're back to oil forecast this morning. Or HTTP cast.
What type of, sort of usually, use the integration points for each other?
Well, I mean, frankly, that's what we're trying to change, right? Historically, it's been more people building more technical type integrations. So they report, hey, some server's bouncing and getting reports from the routing or things of that nature. My build failed.
I forgot.
Things like that.
I mean,
And then what we're doing, we're
Recording stuff.
trying to really, broaden what integrations we're doing. You hear that house delay from the last thing, right?
It's not like-
We're about team productivity and focus initially.
yeah, impressive, right? Yeah.
There's no reason why.
That's reminding me, I'm grateful to be that he has.
So why not?
Because he was talking with his grandma about the death of his great grandma. It's like it's pretty lucky that you're in your mid-20s. I think you just won up. I think you just won up.
Me too.
You guys will do awesome all the time.
Dropped it like it was.
I think you're just shy of 4 years.
More unfortunate.
It's really well done.
Yeah. It's us. That's the motion.
Yeah, one of the guys we worked with, he's been here his whole life, I went to college, he went to New York and then back. It's funny hearing some of his stories about how, he's all pissed off about things that don't exist that I never even knew about because they closed down like 6 years ago.
Oh.
Just like, all these new people moving in, closing up all this shit. It's funny because he's younger than both of us. And,
I wanna make a
he's
sort
like the older guy.
of a web app that,
Seems.
kind of spreads.
I remember, man.
Yeah.
You know, on one side, it's the average difference is price between, if you want the next one is like over $8,000.
The building we're in,
It's
right,
like
we have a
not
source.
It's not an industry.
Down in Colorado.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Well,
really?
it is a business, you know?
Yeah,
That's all it
everything
does.
is. It's just,
So-
you gotta have some sick people who just get it about.
Yeah.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Super interesting. But
How many people?
just not to do that.
Right now, it's a solid
About somebody that-
50-ish, and I think the third floor is just open, or the third floor, I should say, is under
We went in, got the
construction.
initial consultation.
I think we had that.
I went home for a little bit, came in the next day with my laptop, was like, saying that.
450-ish year.
And they're like, sacrifices, dude. I got like 4.5K off. It's like the freaking,
That's actually
it's
good.
the game that we play, I was the freaking partner, but,
You've got contractors who are effectively partners.
it's like,
People think of them as their staff.
Yeah.
Well, both are correct.
Yeah.
I saw this here last night, I've never heard of it. This guy, they had to drop it.
yes.
Are you reading the Reddit thread?
No, but is this the one where you fly?
No, I
and
just
get off
stare at
the-
this thing for 8 hours a day and I prefer.
At your, does it help, does it help?
You're like 75% of
They
visual.
didn't need another company, tried
Yeah,
to see
really visual decoration and I mean, like
unfortunately.
there are keywords that should probably get out of this. That would help with that.
So
like,
video just decided to tell the video about himself, and he's like, I don't need a legal team, I'm not gonna, I just tell him. Right. They claim it is, and his thing, he's like, I'm not a lawyer, this isn't.
The other guy that-
They tried to say that he was
Who's the guy that-
breaking one of their policies, that's a policy between a ticket holder and the airline, and they were saying he.
Oh, it's like a violation?
Yeah, but it's not him, he doesn't sell the tickets, and it's an agreement you make when you purchase a ticket, which is after anyone's ever used his service. And he sees like a monetary gain from it, he doesn't have ads or anything like that.
Yeah, what does he actually gain from it?
Being on the news, and probably getting a job, he's like,
Mike Maurice, right? Nice to meet you. That's all right, we're just gonna kinda keep it casual, do a little bit. and then
Airlines actually.
present.
He raised like $8,000. Oh, sorry, $81,000. Class legal defense.
One-on-one chat, so we could chat back and forth without
I think it was last year when it first came
have
out.
conversations, and then we build a whole integration framework that allows you to repeat it.
Because nobody's had
Different
really thought
apps,
about
and
it.
clear, great way to easier to collaborate,
And he just-
key information and systems and other
So
tools
bad.
inside.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say earlier, the reason more they're fucking is because they all support.
What do you guys do?
Anonymous snippets. And I don't wanna make it through like this extension, sign up for an account.
Yeah, so like you can have, like, let's say you have a project, right, so there, and
I realize in hindsight that I should probably take this though.
whoever has,
Like it
like,
last year, so
you know, working on the job at location A, building, start building, you can make a team, right, just to have that project, right, so I could get on my mobile app and I could say, add an inquiries and say, where's the XYZ shipment, or what's going on with this, we gotta have a conversation, how do we see that conversation go?
I can see why it's bad.
Actually, it's not going to that location.
Why, yeah,
Actually, it's
yeah,
right
that-
there, you go see that, and then you can have integrations and add-on.
Oh.
Project management software that
So you had like
see,
70 people.
here are all the
Same
tasks.
flight,
that
same
we have.
location.
Okay, or here's the team report, here's my
Like,
news.
you had one flight.
Yeah, there's a few problems with it, but also apparently you warned you that if you were doing a friendly traffic team to one nice, and because if you don't share to your connections on our site, you'll automatically cancel your return.
You take a,
Because it's technically against the purpose usage, just like I'm
everybody's gotta do their job.
and knowing you're not
Pick
gonna
your order. Picking that software doesn't matter, or you can build different
I like it,
different
but it's not great for everyone though.
You gotta have
If I'm used to somebody misses a
But you
connection.
gotta break it apart, everyone's gotta do their thing, then you gotta communicate about it, and you gotta put it all together and deliver, right? We just have to deliver, most people deliver software, typically, but construction is the same thing. It's all about tools to help people manage processes, help them communicate, help them just make sure everybody in their team is on the same page. It's all about that business here for software. HipChat's one of our products, we have other products like Incubator as well. That is some collaboration, we're gonna actually send out. So it's cool. I do okay, we actually came out of a meeting how we
Some first part.
were talking about all the other verticals that we can go after. And I was like, you know, a team, a facility, and I was just talking about like a facilities manager or a construction project manager. I mean, those are perfect people that you need better tools, right? I mean, you guys are probably living a lot in spreadsheets. Email spreadsheets around.
You made the car assessment, you learned, you're trained.
Yeah, it works.
You never buy car on that.
Oh, never.
Right.
That's what we've done, that's what
Where
we've
now you
done.
can take that whole flow and just put it in a room.
Not the bad thought.
And then you can even have an app where somebody could just say,
buy
I
cars online without going to see it.
And then
That
maybe
maybe
that
start pulling
approval
away a
kicks
lot
off
of
a notification that says,
like showrooms and shit.
you know what, Maurice approved this, so therefore we can go off and do.
People buy them from the.
You do the following.
It's a super.
Yep.
But, they had like a website where you have to buy it. Like literally.
HipChat has a great mobile app.
Unless you're testing, unless you're
I've
testing.
been trying to resist this.
Nobody bought it.
And it's thin, so
Hilarious.
it's perfect. It's all good.
That's a good plan.
Sam, you think we should get started, or?
That's probably a good time. I mean, that's
That's all you guys.
Right.
You don't have to.
Join us.
Just call it.
Yeah. One last quick activity that should online.
You guys will
Whenever I
make
go
it.
to a dealership, so what I've already, which is that anytime I go to a dealership, I already
You guys make some good food.
vision of the car I'm looking at and everything about it, and I'll come with the exact number written down and take it forward. And if they don't agree with that, I just walk.
Hey guys, we're gonna go and get started. We knew this would be kind of a small group. We kind of tried to cram this in after Thanksgiving, so probably makes it a little bit challenging. But just real quick, my name is Mike Loricella. I'm the Director of Business Development for Atlassian. So how many of you guys are familiar with Atlassian? Pretty much everybody? Cool. So obviously we make Jira, we make Confluence, we make Bitbucket. We also make HipChat, which has been a big focus of ours. So we acquired HipChat, I think back in 2013. As of a year ago, HipChat was a very small team within the company. We had about 15 people working on HipChat. Obviously, the market dynamics have shifted a little bit to where I think maybe we didn't realize what a wonderful platform we had and how much could be done with chat. And we've really refocused on that. So we've put now about 120 plus people on HipChat that are solely dedicated to it. The vast majority of those guys are probably 3-4 blocks away from here, down on Colorado Street, and just doing some tremendous new things around HipChat. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is a new thing that we're doing around integrations with HipChat. It's called HipChat Connect. We've also got some of our partners, guys from on-prem, and sorry, Bill or Rob from? Rob, okay. Rob from Pingboard, who's also going to show off some of the integrations that they built during an alpha week here last week. And let me get back in here. So let me ask the other question. How many of you guys have used HipChat before? Most of you guys here in the middle. None of you guys have? Okay. So cool. So this should be a good, have you heard of it? Heard of it?
Through Capital Factory.
Huh?
I said only through Capital Factory.
Only through Capital Factory?
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. So what HipChat is HipChat is a team collaboration platform, right? So it's the place where you can go and you can have one-on-one conversations with other people on your team. You can build rooms that are dedicated to certain topics or projects or tasks. You know, anything from that new software project that you're working on to a team around your favorite football team to a team around where are you guys going to go for lunch. I mean, any variety of rooms, right? It's very easy to create a room, delete a room, join a room, and things of that nature. So that's HipChat. And HipChat, I mean, is key for distributed teams. I mean, Atlassian itself is a very distributed team. Our core headquarters are in Sydney, Australia. We have another large office in San Francisco, and we're building out a huge office here in Austin. And then layer on top of that, we've got people all over the place in Europe. We have people that, like myself, that work remote basically 100% of the time. So everyone's all over the place, but at the same time, we're all together because we're all inside of HipChat throughout the day. So it just makes our life that much easier. And the team's been doing a ton of work of late. So a couple of key things about HipChat is we've dramatically improved our mobile clients. I think we'd be the first to tell you they were way too damn slow. So now whether you're on iOS or Android, you're gonna have an amazing mobile experience, and we're dedicated to making that even better and faster as well. We've improved the desktop client, so whether it's Mac, PC, Linux, or what have you, we've dramatically improved that experience. HipChat's also unique in that it has a product where it's a cloud solution that you can subscribe to, and it's easy to go with that way. And then at the same time, we also have a behind the firewall product, HipChat Server. So for those verticals and industries that want to control their own instance of HipChat for whatever reason, around privacy and just different regulatory things that they want to have that control, we enable that. And then of course it integrates tightly with a lot of our core products like Jira, Confluence, and Bitbucket. And for forever we've had a great integration framework around HipChat, and we've enabled in excess of about 100 integrations to date. But integrations, frankly, have been a little. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. HipChat's had huge growth. We're well over 7 billion messages sent, and you can see that we're definitely in that hockey stick phase. I mean, this is an old slide. I think we're quickly encroaching on 8 billion messages with a strong user set. Over 100 plus integrations with Atlassian products, and then also you're going to see products that compete with Atlassian products as well. So HipChat's a very open platform. It has great integrations with GitHub. It has great integrations with Trello. It has great integrations with Asana, things that may compete with Bitbucket and Jira. But our view is, as Atlassian, one of our core values is we talk about don't fuck the customer, and if it's the right thing to do for the customer, that's what we do at Atlassian. So building those integrations is just clearly the right thing to do. So this is how the typical integrations look today in HipChat, and this is kind of an example where things work well, right? So here you've got a notification that, hey, a build failed, right? So there's a notification from Bamboo, which is our continuous delivery server, that build 8 of 424 failed, and we've got an issue. So then Craig and Carlos, who are in this room, are able to have a conversation, talk about what happened, then they say, all right, you know what, let's retry that. We think we've addressed the issue. And then you get a notification back that everything's working properly and life is good, right? Everybody's happy. So that's when the current integration framework works well, right? But oftentimes we have this problem where notifications get pinged into a room. You have the audacity to get up, go to lunch, think you can have an hour for yourself. And then you come back and you see basically just a boatload of notifications in a room. And now you've got to try and figure out what's going on, what's the current status, and it's not a happy experience. So you see an alert here, there's this alert is up here, but then there's a green notification down below. Is it fixed, is it not? What alerts did I miss while I was out to lunch? Who is working on this, right? Has somebody picked up the ball, and are they actually doing something, right? It's very difficult to know. All you know is a lot of things have happened. New Relic has pinged in a bunch of notifications. They've done a great job of alerting you, but now you have no idea what's really going on with the team. And you have no idea what you can do to help, and you don't have great feel for the severity of different notifications, right? What's a hot issue versus what's a server, or just kind of getting a little bit overheated and needing to be addressed. So that's where HipChat Connect comes into play. So now inside of HipChat, so for you guys that haven't seen it before, this is the HipChat interface. So on the left, up top, I've got my rooms, and then down here I've got the different people as well. And I've got at one click I can easily create a room, I can create a new chat, and then over here on the right side I can see all the different people that are currently in that room. And then now with HipChat we've introduced the idea of glances. So here in the sidebar, now you can have these different applications or widgets here in the sidebar. So we've got some example ones here. We've got our Bamboo integration here, 23 builds, and everything is good. Jira, there are 2 bugs that need to be looked at, and there have been 59 tweets about a certain topic that we happen to be following. So In the old world before Connect, you would have had these 59 tweets taking up space in the room, a lot of chatter and a lot of noise. Now what we've done is we moved them over into the sidebar. And then you also have the concept of views. So you can click into the glance details, and now you have a view of exactly what's going on, right? So this is the Jira view, so you can see the status of the bug is open. Here are the people that are involved, the reviewers, and you have a better idea for exactly what's going on with that. And that happens to be a bug, I mean, but you could apply this to any type of issue that's being worked in any type of vertical. So Maurice, we were talking about construction, this could be the status of a certain project, right? And the stage that it's at, right? So everything is about, with Jira, it's about something that there's an issue, it needs to be tracked, you need to know who's doing what when, whether that's software, construction, HR, legal, marketing, it all applies, and there's applications everywhere. And then you can expand on, you can see more of the views. And then we have the concept of cards. So here's an image card, and then we also have the idea of other cards that are simpler. So here's the Bitbucket integration, to where you can get information from Bitbucket. And then you also have the nice ability to collapse the cards and get more information via that arrow. So it's making it much simpler and easier to work with. And then the other great thing too is it's not just about pumping information in, it's about enabling people to take action from inside of HipChat. So this could be to, like John's gonna show off, to create a converged space, or to send a notification to somebody, or to create a poll or a task. There are a whole variety of things you can actually do right from the input actions and also from the message actions. So let's take the example where this might have been a tweet. Maybe I want to reply to that tweet right from inside of HipChat and respond to the happy customer, or God forbid the angry customer, all from within inside of HipChat, and we'll show that in a moment. Then you have the ability too, via the input actions, to render this modal here, and you can have different add-ons. So this could be a variety of things, none of which are more important than the ability to insert a Giphy, because that's probably the most important thing. So the old way was for Giphies, right? Via your bot, it was /, you'd type a word and it would return some random Giphy. Well, now you'd have the ability to maybe come up here, you type a word, type SpongeBob, and you get all of these great different options. You click on one, and now that's the Giphy that you post into the room. So that's just kind of a fun example. There are a ton of great applications for this. But that's HipChat Connect at a pretty high level. We hosted a alpha pack group back in late September. So we had some great companies like StatusPage, Hindsight, Smooch, Zendesk, New Relic all participated in that. And I've got a short 1-minute video that's going to play that talks about their feedback and input from that session. So that should go automatically.
HipChat Connect is one of the most powerful APIs we've ever seen in the space.
I'm not sure that I personally have seen anything this rich in a chat application that we can pass our incidents to people.
Now we can actually present the entire incident with the context of each update as it's happening.
What HipChat Connect can allow you to do is not have to actually context switch.
Your teams can not only discover things in HipChat, they can also agree on next steps and take action right from within the HipChat user interface. So the biggest thing really is the way that we can add to the HipChat client itself. We're able to think about our users first and build the best experience that we could in their platform.
The possibilities of collaboration are going to be endless now.
We're basically now opening HipChat to the world and telling developers, HipChat is yours, make it what you want.
And so just a quick note on that. So HipChat is, oops, I don't want to go there yet. So if you go to HipChat/Connect, HipChat's in public beta right now. So you can go there. There's instructions on how you can just activate it for your HipChat team. If you don't have a HipChat team, you can sign up for HipChat Cloud and then go to HipChat/Connect and enable your team to be able to start to use all of the integrations that we're going to show here today, and then all of the others that are listed and available there as well. So let's show one of these integrations in action and how this would potentially work, right? So here some customer, forget his name, is tweeting something about our product.
right? So they tweet, I'd love to be able to share pages with friends directly from the app. And he's tweeted that at our fictitious company here, SmartCore Watch. So instead of that tweet just, somebody having to be logged into some app, what happens inside of HipChat is that we have this great integration from a company called Notifyly, to where we can monitor and have all of our whole social feed here in the sidebar. And Royce from our team sees this tweet and decides, you know what, this is important, we need to take action on it. So again, instead of it just spamming the room just kind of at random, Royce is now going to be able to decide, let's talk about this with the team. So Royce decides to push that into the room. And I got to remember all my clicks here. And so it goes into the room, nicely formatted as a card. You could click on that and go out and see it directly on Twitter. Royce injects his opinion, so does Patrick. And then Tanguy says, you know what, that's great, we're going to add it to the roadmap. And then it can go on from there. So now Tanguy is able to quickly respond to that customer and reply right from inside of HipChat, and says, you know what, it's now on our roadmap. Thanks for the great idea. Reply, that's been posted to Twitter, and now the team is off and running and they're going to be able to build the integration. So from there, we're going to go in and we're going to do a message action. We're going to create an issue in Jira to start to track this new feature that we want to build. So we're in Jira now, and we type in the relevant details, the ticket's open, and we're good to go. And we are working on ways to where that integration, instead of it popping you out to Jira, that card, that view that we showed before, you could have that just render right there and be able to do your things right from inside of HipChat. And that's a delicate balance that we realize is important, right? We don't want people to try to cram their applications inside of HipChat. What we wanted to be able to do is facilitate with context their entry back into that other application, right? So we want to be able to get them the key information, the key stuff that they need to know right inside of HipChat, and then give them at one click to be able to go into the Workified application to go off and do more things. And we'll show a little bit more about that in a moment. So let's continue on. So now posted back into HipChat was a notification, so the team knows that Tanguy actually did something and that he created the issue, and we're good to go. So Patrick's happy about it. This demo goes on. It gets into like technical details and Bitbucket and how they code it and the Bitbucket integration, all things that I honestly don't present very well. So I'm going to save you guys the agony of that. So let's assume that it got coded, all that, just as I like to call it, developer magic happened, and everything's working perfectly. So now just to show off another integration, the next day, everything's working great, the new feature's been implemented, and now Tanguy wants to do a stand-up report. So via a new integration, you can talk about how we do in-app sharing, and then today, planning, right? And the cool thing is this could be your team room, and this example only has one stand-up report in it, but you could envision where you'd have stand-up reports from Tanguy, from Patrick, from Mike, from Julian, and now instead of just, doing that very informal stand-up, which we still hope people do, you now have all the notes and everything right in front of you. And this is just a widget that we've had before with the legacy integration framework, but what it would have required was you would type /stand-up space today. See, I'm already bored. Because I know developers, they would do it. I wouldn't do it. But now, like on the business development team, we now do stand-ups this way, right? We have a business development room inside of HipChat. The team reports everything that they're working on, all their key priorities, and we get together quickly, or we don't even get together. We're just like, all right, we got it, we're moving on, right? It's all about making life a lot easier. Then the other cool integration to show off too is from Convergely. It's the ability to create a poll right from inside of HipChat. So this, the joke here is that Tanguy actually did this feature. So should product managers be allowed to code, yes or no? And then right from in the sidebar, you can vote on it. So good team interaction, the ability to quickly get opinions in a more structured way, the ability to build polls to razz your coworkers, whatever you might want to do. So then they go on, and Tanguy lost, so he's going to delete the poll. So let's go back to that earlier example. Remember this idea with New Relic? New Relic, great platform, sends in tons of notifications into HipChat. That this legacy integration here has been New Relic's most popular integration to date. Something we've always been very excited about. But we knew at the same time, it hasn't been the greatest experience for people, right? It's invoked a lot of spam and a lot of chatter into the room. So with Connect, we came up with a better way. So here we've got our New Relic app here on the side, and I can see at a glance, everything's good. There's no open incidents, right? So the old world might have been, I would have came into the room and have had a ton of messages, right? You know, this server burped, you know, this thing happened, what have you, and I have no idea what should I do next. You know, now I've come back from lunch and I know what, everything's good. There's not a problem. And then of course time goes by, things are going to happen. Now there are 2 open incidents. And now you can see we've got 2 open incidents, but we've only had 1 notification into the room. And the reason is we've only notified you about the critical incident. And we've notified you in that wonderful red to let you know that, hey, this is critical. So it's going to give you the ability to look at it. So Emma's on the team here. Emma's first going to acknowledge the issue via an input action. So now we immediately are going to know that Emma's on top of this. So now when I come into the room later, I don't have to go into the room and say, hey, is anybody working on this? Oh my God, what's going on? We know that Emma's got it. And then we can go in and we can look and we can see that, you know, Emma's working on this critical issue here. We've got this other one, memory usage is over 75%. Who cares? That happens every day around this time. We know it's going to trend back down, or maybe it is something we want to address, but it's not a critical issue. So we didn't interrupt the team about that, and the fact that no one's acknowledged it, you know, who cares? And then we can drill in, look at the issue in a little bit more detail. We can see who's acknowledged it, we can see who's following it, and then via an action as well, here in the glance, I can decide, this isn't me, it's someone a lot older than me, that I want to follow it as well. And now I'm following it, so now I'm going to get updates. And these are all, this acknowledgement and follow, these are all New Relic functions that we're now able, you would have had to app flip over without context into New Relic, find the issue, and then follow it and all of that, right? It would have been much more of an involved process. So what we're doing is we're trying to facilitate people's access to that application and the information. Let me back up. But at the same time, like I said, we don't want to keep people out of New Relic, right? And we don't want to try and cram all the rich information about this issue or this incident inside of HipChat. So here, via the View a New Relic button, they click that and they can just go right into New Relic and see more information about the incident. And then we could go on, but I'm not going to. Oh, actually, I am a little bit. The other integration we have, you guys familiar with Status Page? So we use Status Page at our company for HipChat. So if you went to status.hipchat.com or if you went to status.bitbucket.com, we use Status Page. It's how we communicate to our clients, you know, the exact status of our cloud service offerings. So because of this critical issue that was impacting users, Emma decides she wants to update the Status Page. So she clicked that action, went out to Status Page, she can quickly create the incident name and then update the Status Page, and then it brings it back into the room. It notifies the team that, hey, Emma has updated the Status Page and here's exactly what she has communicated to all of our clients. So, and there could have been other things that we could have done there as well, right? So even in the demo, I cut out some of those slides because we showed it earlier. You create your issue in Jira and it creates a ticket and you can track that ticket. Jira and HipChat have a tight integration as well. So from that issue in Jira, you can have a HipChat room and really close the loop on all of these things. So with that, the other thing we did after we did the Alpha Week in San Francisco, we came to our second home here in the US in Austin, and we did I guess it was a beta week, if you will, around HipChat. So we invited in a lot of great companies and developers to demo or to integrate with HipChat, and then we did a live demo on Friday, and a number of them are with us right now. So John, if you want to step up real quick. John's with a company called Converge. Oh, well, here are all the different companies. It's On-Prem, Converge, Pingboard, Kickdrum, who's a local consultancy, Whisper, who actually isn't local. They flew from Melbourne, Australia to join us here in Austin. So they definitely win that prize. But I think the first one leading off is Converge. So I basically just got 4 of those screenshots.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, so we got together and our development team, we work distributed between Austin and Philly. Converge, spelled like this. We missed out on the Converge-Lee spelling, but spelled without all the vowels, but we're a collaborative real-time environment for visual planning, really focused on distributed teams. So imagine a whiteboard inside the cloud where you can put anything from drawing tools, text, markdown, issues, from Jira's in development, GitHub's live, in a visual planning environment to allow teams to plan more effectively. And what we were able to put together with the HipChat Connect API was really powerful, and we're very excited about integrating, because it was so easy to get started. And I think that's the first thing I could really emphasize was we're using a Node app, setting up the server instance that we needed. It was an npm install function. It was very quick and easy to get started. And what we had was, and it's still in development right now, but what we were able to put together for the Friday where we presented down at Atlassian was taking an issue where you're discussing in a session about something that's going on, and it's the kind of instance where if you were in the same room around a whiteboard, you just get up and you start drawing it out, and you start figuring out how you want to attack this problem. So when you're in a distributed team and not everyone's in the same room, obviously you're living in HipChat, and you're looking at the channel for all the most relevant information. And what's powerful about Connect is that you don't have this excessive chatter or room bloat really from all these notifications. But if you wanted to jump in for a planning session, we would create a call that made a converged space. So you issue it, in this case it was a security problem board, where we mapped out an issue that we would otherwise do on a whiteboard. What we're finishing up on the back end right now is setting out the authentication to integrate with the call that we're getting from the HipChat Connect API to get everyone that's in that room already authenticated with an invitation, so they can jump right into the space, and now they can be in this planning environment. So it creates a card in your room that you can then click on that everyone's pre-authenticated for, and then it launches this free-form space. So it looks like a Kanban or something like this, but it's a lot more freestyle. We've got issues, images, text, markdown, whiteboarding tools, and it's all real time, all in the browser, so you can start to plan it out. And we actually did plan. This was our whiteboarding of the HipChat Connect API integration plan that we then mapped out, and then here's where we can take some action with the team. It creates it in the glance with a converged space here on the side, and then creates the board, and you're able to hop right in. And what we're hoping to do next is tie in a little tighter with finishing up the authentication side of it, and really making it so, like Mike was saying, not trying to stuff the app inside a room on HipChat, but giving this free-form environment. And what's really attractive about the glances is that you might have several planning sessions where it's just, let's jump in real quick and sketch this out, to let's really plan what we're going to do with better backlog management with, we've got 60 tickets in Jira all related to this that we need to start planning for our next sprint, and we need to jump in them. Those are two very different kinds of planning sessions, and as we have it right now, we don't have a great way of serving up notifications on what's happening with them. But through the HipChat Connect API, we can now provide the status of what each one of those spaces is. So for someone that doesn't care about the whiteboarding session that was related to how to resolve a bug, they're not going to care, and they don't have to get the room bloat with all these messages related to what's happened in this board, but they can follow it more closely. So that's what we're working on now, and we hope to be up in the Connect marketplace by January. But anyone that's looking at developing and integrating, I gotta say it's definitely like the quickest API that we were able to integrate with, and it's only going to get more powerful. I think, just as Mike was showing, the stuff you're able to do with controlling the information that you need at a glance, and being able to dive in when necessary is a really powerful feature, and definitely encourage everyone to check it out.
Cool. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, and I'll be back at 1.
All right. And so next up is Rob from Pingboard. It's just the 2 images on the
Okay,
slide.
thanks. Hi, so Pingboard is an employee directory for your company. So like a traditional directory, it stores basic contact information about all your employees, things like job title. In addition, it also has some sort of more social information, what people are interested in, what they prefer for lunch, as well as more business-focused things like who your manager is, who you manage, and what particular skills you have. In addition to all that sort of profile information, which tends to be a little bit static, Pingboard also lets you share information about when you're going to be out of the office, whether it's sort of a more traditional, like I'm going to be on vacation 3 weeks from now, or just I'm going to be working from home tomorrow, and easily surfaces that to your coworkers. And so the issue that we have with this type of product is that this information really needs context in order for it to be useful. And HipChat is a great place for a lot of this information because if you're looking to send somebody a message, you're looking to talk to them, it's helpful to know if they're on vacation or if they're just not at the office right now or whatever. Assuming that their HipChat status is away, this can give you context about where that person is and what kind of message you might want to send to them. And so that's what we built during the developer week. You can see here there's a glance that shows you how many people are out. And you can expand that to see who it is, see how long they're going to be out of the office, and get a little bit more context about what they're doing. So in this case, Oren was out for Thanksgiving and just got back today. So this is from yesterday. He's out yesterday. We already had a HipChat integration before, which is a more traditional one, which you can see here in this room. We're sort of just pushing every day, like who's going to be out and what they're doing. But the addition of the glances, I think, is going to be really great for our product. We have a lot more information that I think makes sense to surface here. Whose birthday it is, anniversaries for work. This person's been here for 2 years or whatever. As well as just surfacing some of that other sort of profile information in places where it makes sense in HipChat. So excited to move forward and add more to it.
Thanks, Rob. We've got a couple more I want to show off. So Envision, I imagine a lot of you guys probably use this app for design. So Envision's been working with us as well. I'll just show off a couple of the screenshots. So Envision's a great, design, place where you can go to work, build out your concepts, and make them almost feel like real apps and interactive. So here you can get a view inside of the design team room. That you can see in the glance the two projects that we're working on, the marketing website and the iOS app. You've got information here via a card that Emma's apparently working for everybody. Emma's updated 3 screens in the marketing website, and you can get those details. You could click the input action here, or pardon me, the message action here, and go out to Envision, or you could also comment on Emma's work. Maybe there's an approval process and do things of that nature, all from inside of HipChat. Inside of the glance, you could drill in and look in more detail on what's going on with the iOS app, so you can get a view on what's on hold, what's in design, what needs review, and then via the actions be able to go into InDesign as well, or push that project into the room and via discuss action and talk about what's going on with that project with your team. Envision's really excited about this because they themselves are a completely distributed team as well. They've got a couple people here in Austin, they got some people in Phoenix, they came out of New York, but they literally have no real address. And they live and work on a daily basis inside of HipChat. The other cool one is from a company called Kickdrum, who is a consultancy. They're launching a new product. You could go to hyphi.io, so hyfy.io. Their whole notion with Hyphi is that screenshots, kind of suck, right? When you're trying to convey what an issue is. So what they've done is they've facilitated a way to really just grab video of an issue or something that's going on your computer and be able to layer on, your audio, talking, explaining about the issue from this new solution called Hyphi. And what they've done is they've then integrated that with HipChat so that from Hyphi you could choose to share a Hyphi to a room and get a notification about it. And then also from the glance, you're going to be able to see all the Hyphis that relate to that room as well and be able to drill in on those. And then also via the actions, right? This is where you could discuss the hi-fi, you could comment on it, you could open it in hi-fi, or maybe someone's just reported a bug or an issue, and you would be able to add that to a new ticket in Jira or to an existing ticket inside of Jira as well, and just add that as an asset to the ticket to help people better understand the issue. So that's that. And then next up we've got on-prem with Andrew, and Andrew's integrated with You Earned It. So HipChat's always had the ability to kind of give kudos give karma inside of HipChat. And now Andrew with the You Earned It team has taken that a step further to where you can actually not just tell people you like them, you can give them monetary, you can monetize that like, I guess.
Hey everybody, so I'm Andrew from On-Prem. We're a small consulting company down the street, which really doesn't have too much to do with instant messaging or HipChat or anything like that, but we do have a vested interest in moving more and more of our stuff into messaging, just because that's where we spend pretty much all of our time when we're working from home or in the office. So just the super quick recap, You Earned It is a third-party service that we subscribe to that will let you pick certain team members and give them kudos or rewards for certain things. Those points are accumulated and can eventually be redeemed for things like gift cards or other things. So it's a service that we pay a decent amount for our employees to use to kind of recognize others. The problem with it is it's kind of hard to get adoption up when people have to go into a native mobile app anytime they want to send points to someone, because you're really not inside of their app or their website whenever you want to give kudos. So just a 3-second overview. If I'm in the chat room, let's say Jeremy Jenkins did something awesome and I want to send him some points for it, I can just click the plus icon in the bottom, choose send recognition. From there it's going to give me a small modal where I can see the points that I have left in my balance, the amount I want to send to them, and I can select any number of people, both from the room or just the HipChat team in general, and send them a message. And when that's complete, it's going to go ahead and let the whole room know that I sent them some points. And if they click on that, they'll be able to actually see an overview of it, both inline and on the You Earned It website. And we've been using that internally so far, and it's been really nice to kind of get usage up of that and, you know, really help us get our money's worth from it. But it's also, it seems to be helping team morale, but we'll see. And then there's
a lot. So let me see.
Cool.
Is that you?
Yep. And I got one other integration to show you guys real quick. Let me clear out all of this. And how many people here are developers or engineers? Cool. So this is something that I made for, I guess, both you guys and myself. One nice thing about HipChat is that you can send code snippets to people, but the downside is typing them in here is kind of a pain, and you don't necessarily get to choose what language your syntax highlighting is for. So I guess kind of just to highlight how easy these APIs are to work with, this was the second integration I wrote, and I got this done in under 24 hours. I think if you actually take the cumulative time, it was probably like 4 hours to go from start to finish. So it's pretty easy to work with. You just click post code snippet. You can go here and choose what language you want, and you've got a full editor in here with syntax highlighting, and it supports all the new hotness of JavaScript and most other languages. So I can go class HipChat, give it a quick constructor, just say hello world, post the snippet, and it's going to go ahead and let the room know. From that point, if anyone's using the HipChat client, they can go in here and just click view, and then they can see the code inline and they can copy and paste it. It's just read-only at this point, so they don't get confused if they hit backspace or something. And if they're using the old client for some stupid reason, they can click this link and still go see it. It's just in the older version, it's going to give them a link to it, and it just creates an anonymous GitHub gist. Would have preferred to use Bitbucket. It just doesn't support anonymous API posts at the moment, but the benefit here was that I don't have to persist the data, which also just kind of shows how flexible the HipChat API is, that I can make those decisions. So yeah, this one's probably not going to be listed by myself in the marketplace just because it was a fun project, but if you guys are interested in using it, you can go to GitHub and search for HipChat code snippets, and all the code's up there, and you're welcome to learn from it. And I'll say hi to him. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, man. And point taken on the Bitbucket. I didn't know about that.
We still use Bitbucket for everything else?
All right. So of course, I mean, if any questions about any of this, please, you guys chime in. The last one, I think, is a company called Whisper. So what they do is they enable notifications inside of HipChat. So you're probably thinking, well, HipChat already does notifications. Well, it's true, right? We do notifications if you're another HipChat user. Well, what if your customer wants to send in an urgent text message via SMS, right? Who does it go to? What happens today? It probably ends up landing on somebody's mobile phone, and who knows what the hell is going on. So with Whisper, they would give you the ability to maybe you would have your number with them, and you'd be able to, and I realize this is small, inside of the HipChat room, if a customer, in this case, at the 614 number, and they're Australian, so we're gonna see funny looking phone numbers, the customer texted in, I need help, right? So now, this is in front of the whole team, it's not buried on somebody's iPhone. You can, via action, you can just reply and have a dialogue with that customer. And you can type the message here, what exactly do you need help with, and you can send that reply to them. So there's a lot of neat applications for this, for customer service, for support, for marketing purposes, a whole variety of things that you can do. Another idea too is, let's say you get an alerting notification that servers are down, or there's been a major incident somewhere that's affecting your service. So here there was a notification from Sentry, who's also built a great integration with HipChat Connect, saying, well, let's just, for whatever it says, it's a font small, servers are down. And then via Whisper, what you're able to do is, via that input action, you're able to open this modal here, this view, and you pick your workspace, customer notifications, you pick your distribution list, and you want to send a targeted notification to everybody on the US Northwest, because that's what is impacted here. And then you can type out your notification. And some people will get notified via mobile if that's their preference. Some people will get notified via email. Some people might even get a voice call with a text-to-speech notification. And then some people will get a web, nicely formatted web interface, where that they get from the email or from the text, click on the link and have a nice web page, nicely formatted, and be able to receive that notification. And if you want to, you could add in other folks as well to also receive the notification, and just do that free form via, separate them via commas. But very simple to do, and pretty powerful. So again, those are the main integrations from the Alpha Week. Some great companies that have built some great things. The other, I think, benefit of building Connect is not only the ease of it and the power that it brings to the table, but from a marketing perspective, Atlassian's thrown a lot of weight around and behind Connect. And I think through the different blogs and webinars and joining us at conferences and events, we can be a pretty big megaphone for young startups. So we'd love to do that. At the end of the day, Atlassian, we're all about helping young tech companies and developers and providing them those tools. So we're really excited about doing that. Oh, I have a couple more. Sorry, just real quick. Dropbox. Everybody who knows Dropbox, who uses Dropbox, every hand goes up. So today, when you want to share a Dropbox link with somebody, right, you gotta go out to Dropbox, and you gotta find the folder, and then you gotta right click on that, right click and get your shared Dropbox URL, it puts it on your clipboard, and then you go back to whatever you're in, email, HipChat, whatever application, you gotta paste it. That's a lot of fun, right? So what if you could just have an action button, share the Dropbox file from here, you get a box that comes up. If your eyes are really good, you're gonna see one of our French developers did this because everything's in French. You grab your file and you post it, right? And then it's shared with the room. So just eliminating all of that friction, an amazingly simple integration. Anybody use Uber? Anybody hear of Uber? So Uber, let's say you want to request an Uber for that team dinner or whatnot. You just have the Uber integration, you punch in your address, your to address, you can get your fare estimate, which you can kind of see right, well, I can't even share my mouse. And you can request the ride, and then that notification gets sent to the room. You can chat about it. Look, the car's gonna be here in 5 minutes, everybody be downstairs, and you're off and running. So I will admit that maybe the notion of doing this for an Uber car from a room is a little bit of a stretch. This is where we were kind of geeking out a little bit and having some fun. But you guys are probably, I don't know if you guys do know, but Uber's going to launch a thing called Uber Eats, right? So what's more social than eating and getting together with your team? You could via the, everybody could request their meal, post it into the room, everybody gets together in the lunchroom, all facilitated via HipChat to enable that. And you can discuss, join the ride, do a bunch of different things. These are all the guys that built with us for the Alpha Pack demo. And that's really, and that's just going to build. That's really it. Any questions about what you saw? Yeah.
Did you cover Meekan?
We didn't show Meekan, but I could.
Not yet.
So Meekan is basically an artificial intelligence bot that you can actually. I closed HipChat so I wouldn't get pinged during the meeting. So let me go to my Meekan room. Or maybe I have it here. So Meekan's an artificial intelligence bot. It's linked to my calendar, so it knows when events change, and it can also help me schedule an event. So the idea with Meekan is, let's say the three of us are in a room, and I want to set a meeting. So what I could do is I could mention you and say I need to meet with, I forget your name, sorry. Need to meet with both of you, mention your names, tomorrow around 3 p.m. What Meekan's going to do is Meekan's going to return information and say, you know what, you can't do it at 3, but you could do it at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., or 9 a.m. tomorrow. And I could reply and say, you know what, book number 3, right? And it's going to go put that automatically on everybody's calendar, right? So gone are the days of all of that nightmarish back and forth around trying to schedule a meeting, and you wait, and then you say, hey, I've got 4 options, and by the time you reply, that one option that you picked has filled up for me, and it's just a complete nightmare. So Meekan facilitates all of that. Where they're going and where they're traveling to, well, pun intended, I guess. I know you can't, it's tough to see. But here what I typed was find flight from SFO to TLV, so to Tel Aviv. Meekan's an Israeli-based company. On 12/7, return 12/22. And then Meekan has just returned all of my flight options that I think the way they've done this integration too also work with my calendar as well. So if I have my calendar, like I might not even need to, with their visions, I wouldn't even need to tell them the dates eventually, right? So if I had a meeting on my calendar in Tel Aviv on 12/7, the vision for Meekan is Meekan should be able to recommend a flight to me that's going to get me into Tel Aviv in time, with travel from the airport and everything, to get to that meeting on 12/7 at 12 noon Israeli time, right? And then if my last meeting in Israel is 12/22 and my next meeting happens to be in the UK, then they could recommend a flight. And then if something changes and I change that on my calendar, Meekan's vision is to then be able to send me those recommendations to say, you know what, your Tel Aviv meeting moved back 2 days, you could delay your flight, and here are all the different options, here are the change fees, and we're kind of a travel agent's worst nightmare at this point, but we've made everybody's life a lot easier. So that's Meekan. And there's another one. So here I made a quick room here where I set up a poll. So this was the room poll idea. So I need to click again. So the question is, how did you travel here today? And I quickly made it, 3 options: walk, took a car, took a bus, and I can send my answer. And now that answer has been recorded. Right? 1 response published. And you could do this with anything. And again, this is all done via the actions. And the other thing too you can do is you can schedule a message, right? Very easily. I can type the message and when I want it to get sent. So maybe I want to have a reminder that's going to automatically go out and notify the team that, hey, we're today at 5 o'clock, we have an all-hands meeting, I could schedule that message to go out at 4:55 p.m., right? And I don't have to remember to do that. And then just to compare that with the way other guys do something like that, let's say I wanted to send this hello world message, what I would have had to type, next to this I can zoom. So I would have typed /TO, deliver tomorrow at 9 a.m. space hello world, right? Developer's gonna knock that out and not a problem. But this is about bringing team collaboration to all of the teams. So with the way that works with HipChat, as opposed to our old bot or the way most other chat platforms work today in that legacy method, you're able just to type your message. Oops. How did I click that? Just type your message, select when you want to do it. I could have picked a custom date, or I could have also made this a reoccurring message, which I would even challenge some of the developers to figure out how to do that reoccurring message via, Andrew's up for it already, he's ready to go. But to try and do that damn thing via / command, do the reoccurring message. I know I've already given up and I haven't even tried, but it makes it all that much simpler. So that's what we're up to with HipChat. We're really excited about what we think is the future of team collaboration. We think teams are going to increasingly live here. This whole move towards team chat and away from email is something that frankly is just getting started. We were the first ones here, and we're dedicated to making sure that we stay out in front on the team collaboration market. So definitely thank you guys for joining us today. Love to take any questions now or one-on-one, please.
I got a question about that issue.
What's that?
I'm an old guy.
Okay.
I'm from back when email was really hard. And so one of the things that happens in my life is I do a lot of things. A lot of things happen in my life. A lot of projects happen. And so I'll be on project 26 after 5 projects. And somebody asked me a question about project 5, which happened back in January. So if I had an email about that project, I can go back, search through the email logs, and find something about that project. Says, oh yeah, so the answer to that question is this.
Right.
So does your app platform provide some way I can go back in the history and find out?
We keep all of your logs forever, or all of your chat history forever for you.
All right.
So there's 2 versions of HipChat. There's a free version, which it does have limited time that we keep your logs. But the paid version, which is a whopping total of $2 a month per user, we keep all of that for you forever. And we throw in voice and video as well. So you can do one-on-one voice and video calls. And I gotta be careful what I say about roadmap. We've acquired a company called Blue Gem that has an incredible team video collaboration platform. So it probably stands to reason that maybe our voice and video capabilities are gonna improve in the near term as well. So that's another benefit of HipChat that I didn't even really touch on here today. But you can do that. And if you wanted to see, just for a quick plug, because there is there's a beta. If any of you guys went to enso.me, you could start a meeting. Actually, I'll just do it real quick. And you give anybody else that share URL, and now you're in a multi-party video conference. I could add files if I wanted to. I could type meeting notes in a collaborative fashion. And so Tom, if you joined, you'd be able to be in here, and then the cursor would be lit up, right? Mine would have an M next to it, you would have a T. And just like similar to Google Drive, you would be able to type collaboratively here. And then maybe after that session is done, maybe there's eventually a button here that says, push this content to Confluence. So we would push the text here, any files, and then maybe even a recording of the call as well, right, to Confluence, so that that's retained forever. And then maybe we even have some cool capabilities where that call is actually searchable too. So I could search and I could show you, at the 10-minute mark, you guys were talking about that very topic, and go right to that section of the recording URL. So it gets pretty cool. But if anybody wants to check that out, enso.me. The one thing I will warn you, unless they've fixed it, so we've got a very nice red banner up here that says this is experimental and shit will happen. When somebody first joins, so like if you go to join, you've got to log in via Google. And when you log in, the issue we've had, at least as of last week, if you have to log in, it's gonna send you into a different room, right? And you gotta close that room and go back to the original URL. It annoys the shit out of me, I apologize, but it is experimental. And it's cool as hell when you use it. And it's super easy to use. I use the, my wife hates technology. She loves Enzo, right? So she uses it for, she's like a health fitness person, drives me absolutely crazy. But she uses that Enzo now to like collaborate with all of her little people. So for lack of, I don't know what to call them, people she helps. She's a guru. But that's it, that's Enzo. I don't know how I wasn't planning to talk about that, but I'm glad it came up. Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you see any natural synergies between these partners that have plugged into HipChat? Let's say, for example, Meekin and Whisper, for example.
Yeah, I mean, you could see, like if Meekin knows something in my calendar and sends me a notification in my HipChat room, like Mike, your schedule has changed and your flights are all screwed up, and then I don't respond, maybe I'm not logged in or I'm not there, then maybe Meekin could then trigger to Whisper and say, you know what, notify Mike on his mobile phone that his flight's been canceled or his hotel room has been unbooked or whatever the issue might be, and be able to chain these different things together. And that's the other cool thing about Connect is that, the challenge for a lot of you guys, you can't integrate, you're not able to integrate with everything, right? I mean, you only have so much time and resources, but once you integrate into HipChat, right? So like Converge integrated with HipChat, they don't really have to integrate with Jira, but because there is a Jira integration, they can leverage that input action to then raise an issue, inside of Jira. So at the end of the day, sort of what we're doing with HipChat is HipChat becomes this platform for team collaboration, but also all of these apps start to work inherently well together. Like New Relic sends a notification into HipChat, I could have an action to say send a Whisper notification, right? New Relic and Whisper don't really need to know anything about each other, but because they're both inside of HipChat, they're able to do different things. And you could extend that, those things to, like, you could see Pingboard and You Earned It, maybe doing things together, right? Like employees do certain things, and then now you wanna send them kudos or karma or I don't know, stuff. You could do that right from the Pingboard integration. And Pingboard doesn't need to know much about You Earned It, but they're both inside of HipChat. So once you're inside, it's kind of like you're in the party, and it just makes it easy for all these applications to flow together, which was an intended consequence of the way we've designed Connect. And if you check out Connect online, some of the press we've gotten for this has been pretty phenomenal. TechCrunch, The Next Web, Business Insider, a lot of guys, Forbes, Fast Company. There's been some great write-ups, and we're just getting started. I mean, it's unprecedented. Atlassian's launched a lot of products in our time. This has probably been one of the most successful with early momentum behind it, relative to even Confluence or Jira or other things that are now the big dogs inside of Atlassian. So we're really excited about what we're doing with HipChat. We think it's a great platform to enable other developers to build alongside us and do great things, and we hope you take advantage of it. That's all I've got. I have no idea what time it is. That clock is way too complicated for me.
12:27.
Perfect. And if you guys didn't get to eat, there's food in the back. If you came in late, please grab a sandwich. If you have any questions, I'm planning to hang out for a bit. Love to talk to you guys, but thank you very much for your time. And if you want to play, there's some of the demos that we can mess with as well. Live demos are always make me nervous, but we can do that. I don't think it knows my time zone. I think it thinks I'm in California. It's 9:30 back.
It changes it
No problem.
to a guy with a toupee.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty
cool.
I like your, when you said I can't do that, when you did your lecture, you were talking about something that developers do, and I said, I'm not good at talking about that, so you just went with the next thing. I gave presentations, and And then people would ask me questions about this product I didn't like. And I would get into why I didn't like it, which was what I shouldn't have done. I should have just gone on the stuff that I covered well. I would have been awkward.
Hey, I mean, it's a great integration with Bitbucket. I just
No, it's
I
good.
don't do it justice when I talk about
No,
it.
that's fine.
So, hey, Mike.
Josh.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for your time. Really interesting. We use Jira.
Cool.
It's cool to see all the integrations. Not text, so some of it didn't apply to me, but a lot of the calendar stuff and we facing messaging is really exciting.
Cool. What do you guys do?
On-demand parking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember, what's it called?
Lux.
You guys come out in New York?
San Francisco, we're in New York.
Okay.
We are.
So this would be like the model where, like, let's say I live in Boston and I own my own parking space, but I only I leave at 9 a.m. and I'm not back until 6. You would kind of Airbnb my parking space during the day for me?
We don't do that.
Okay. Good. That's what I needed when I lived in Boston. So I paid, I paid even saying what I paid for that freaking parking spot, but it was empty. You know, all the time I was like, the lease is out.
There are a few that do that. And
So what do you, I'm
it's
sorry,
pretty
so
exciting.
what do you
No,
guys
it's fine. Thanks. On-demand valet service. So you can drop your car off where you want to go downtown. We store it for you. In a parking spot, but.
Right,
not
so you're like,
parking.
you're guy, like, I could just drop a pin and then like somebody was gonna come flying around the corner, grab my car and.
Yeah, hopefully not flying too fast. They use little razor scooters, so hopefully they're not moving too fast.
You guys came on those little hoverboards, right?
And that would be
Something like
exciting.
that.
Those
Or whatever.
single wheel ones are pretty cool too.
Yeah,
Single wheel
yeah.
segways.
Yeah, that's what I'm debating between that one and I think the 2-wheel one's gonna be a little, I think 2 wheels are better than one.
Definitely.
But the one is so freaking cool. But this is neat what you guys do, but yeah, check it out. I mean, and I could see applications for you guys too, like internal to the team, right? You could have like, maybe you have rooms for different cities and you can see all the requests and pin drops, successful cars to retreat, cars to park, X number of cars parking, how many people do we have in this area, do we have more cars than people, to be able to deliver this, I'm gonna sure all metrics you guys know, there's a lot of.
The price point for being able to retain history is really exciting for like. History disappearing aspect is a challenge, especially if you use it to take hold of some of the volume for emails.
Right.
Really cool though.
Yeah.
Taking your time.
No problem.
Nice to meet you.
So when I hit,
My name's Ryan.
chat.
Right?
Yeah, it's just on HipChat in general.
Yeah.
Somebody else sent me a text.
Are there any integrations with
They'll write me along.
emails or Outlook?
I don't cut
So,
that text out and
in
mail it.
process, or, I mean, I shouldn't say that, there's people with ideas. So we've been chatting with Microsoft around how could we integrate with their around presence APIs. So if I'm in a Google meeting or an Outlook meeting calendar,